Hey there, Areli here from withhisgifts.com. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you how I created this lovely card. And this card I actually created back in December as a preview to the then upcoming 2016 Occasions catalog. And it features the Grateful Bunch stamp set. And I have recently been asked to show how I created the card, so I thought that I would go ahead and create a tutorial for it. So let's get started. The stamp sets featured today are, like I already mentioned, the Grateful Bunch, and we'll also be using quite the buffet of other stamp sets, which include the Watercolor Wings, Choose Happiness, the Butterfly Basics, and the Petite pairs. Ink colors we're using today are Pool Party, Early Espresso, So Saffron, and the Soft Suede. We'll also be using the Blossom Punch and the Curvy Corner Trio Punch. For our paper, we have a piece of the Early Espresso that is cut at 11 and a half by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. We have two pieces of the Very Vanilla cut at 4 by 5 1/4. One will be the card front and the other one will be on the inside of our card. We also have a piece of Scratch Pool Party and another piece of the Scratch Very Vanilla. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my piercing mat here along with our scratch piece of the Pool Party. I'll be grabbing my Pool Party ink pad, and we are going to go ahead and stamp this flower set here that is from the Grateful Bunch stamp set. So let me go ahead and ink up my stamp. Let's go ahead and press down. Careful not to rock. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my Blossom Punch and punch these flowers out here. Okay, with this particular punch, what I have found is that if I focus on lining up the smaller flower, that it's easier to line up the other two. So if you're having trouble with lining up this punch, you can try that trick and see if it works for you. Seems to work fine for me. So okay, so there are our flowers. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and grab my Soft Suede ink pad along with a sponge, and I am going to go ahead and sponge around the edges just like so, and I will do that to all of my flowers. Okay, so here are our flowers. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and grab our glue dots, and we're going to go ahead and assemble our flower. We're going to take the middle flower and go ahead and put a glue dot right behind there. We'll mount it onto the bigger flower, offsetting just a little bit, just like that. Then we will go ahead and do the same with the smallest flower. Let's put a glue dot on the back and mount it onto the top, just like that. And I'll go ahead and grab a dimensional and put it on the back in preparation for mounting it on the front of our card later. So we will need to do that 3 times because we'll need a total of 3 of these flowers for our card. So I went ahead and did 2 of them ahead of time and showed you how I did that with the third one. Okay, so we'll grab our piercing mat one more time, the scratch piece of the Very Vanilla, the Early Espresso ink pad, and we are going to go ahead and stamp this leaf set here from the Grateful Bunch stamp set. Now, when you are working with a big block or big stamp like this, I find that it works best to lay your stamp down and ink it up like this. When I don't do it this way with such a big block, what I find is that I tend to get ink all the way around here, and then it's hard to keep that ink from transferring to your paper. So works for me. We are going to be cutting this out, so if we get a little bit on the paper where it doesn't belong, it doesn't matter so much for this card, but when you're stamping a card where it does matter, it's a good tip to know. So we'll be doing this twice. I need 2 of these. Okay, and so there are our leaves, and we are going to go ahead and fussy cut these. Okay, and here are the leaves all cut out. I know that I said that we needed 2 of them, but we in fact actually needed 3. I did make this card back in December, and memory loss happens to the best of us as we age, so I forgot that, and we do need 3, and I have 3, so we're all set. Okay, we're going to set these aside along with our flowers, and then we're going to get started with our card front. So let's get started with preparing the background on our card front. And for that, we need a piece of the Very Vanilla that is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. We'll be starting with the stamp here that comes from the Watercolor wings, and we will be stamping that in the So Saffron. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to cover it completely in these lovely dots. We're going to stamp off once and then onto my card front, just like that. And we will do that until our card is completely covered in these lovely yellow dots. Okay, so there is step 1 for our background. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and punch out some of these corners here, and for that I'm going to use my curvy corner trio. I will be punching out the top left using this this corner here. So the top left and the bottom right, just like that, just like that. Yeah. Okay, so there is our card front so far. The next stamp that we'll be using is this leaf sprig here, and that's coming from the Choose Happiness, and we are going to be stamping that in the Early Espresso. So let's get that ready. And I have my stamp here. Go ahead and ink her up like so. I'm going to stamp off once, and then I am going to come in just like that from the corner. Okay, go ahead and re-ink and stamp off once, and then come in like that. One more time. We will stamp right about here, just like that. Then we're going to turn this around and do the same thing on the other corner. So stamp off, come in right about there, ink, stamp off right about there, ink, stamp off, and right about there, just like that. Okay. Okay, so the next image we want to stamp onto our card front is this lovely butterfly that comes from the Grateful Bunch, and we are going to be stamping that in the Pool Party. So let's get that ready. Go ahead and grab my stamp, and then we are going to ink her up, and then I am just going to, using my rules of 3s because odd numbers seem to look better, I'm going to go ahead and stamp her just like that. This is by far my most favorite butterfly. It's so pretty and vintage looking. So yeah, there we go. All right, so the final stamp that we'll be using for the background comes from the Butterfly Basics, and that is this lovely little postage stamp here, and we are going to be stamping that in the Early Espresso. And I am going to be using that same rule of 3s and actually going to stamp this close to each of the butterflies that I've already stamped. So just like that. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to grab soft suede and sponge, like that. And I am going to go ahead and sponge my edges. Just slightly, just like that. Okay, and there's the completed background for our card front. Next, we want to go ahead and grab the early espresso, which is our card base. We're going to go ahead and mount. We're going to go ahead and mount that onto our card front. And I am going to be using some of the multi-purpose glue for that. Just like that. Oopsie. Okay, so there we go. We are ready to proceed to the next step, which is to mount our lovely flower pieces. And for that, I am going to cut, move this aside so we can see. I'm going to cut these apart a little bit. So I am going to cut that one apart like that. And then I'm going to cut this one apart as well, just like that. So I'm going to do that for each of them. So I'm going to cut each of these into 3 pieces. And if I recall correctly, we won't be using all of them. But I do remember that I did cut them into 3 pieces. Again, I made this card several months ago. So, okay, so now we have them cut into the 3 different pieces. And let's just see where my thought process was when I was composing the front of this card. So this one was here, and here looks like that. That. Okay. And you have this here. And that there. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's just go ahead and see what that looks like with my flowers. Mount it up just like that. Okay, so that looks good. We're gonna go ahead and put some glue down and get these glued. Okay, so I think I have them where I want them. I'm going to go ahead and press down on there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and mount my flowers. So get the backing off my dimensional here. We're going to put one right about there. Okay. The other one goes right about there, and my third one right about there. And the final thing that we need to do to finish our card is to add our sentiment, and we are going to use the happy birthday wishes right here, and that's coming from the Petite pairs, and we will be inking that up in the early espresso. So let's go ahead and ink that up. Okay, and then coming in this corner and being very careful, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. Just like that. And there you have it. Super duper easy, super duper quick, and super duper elegant. So make sure to check out the supply list down below, then head on over to my website at withhisgifts.com and place your order today so you can make these lovely cards at home. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. go ahead and visit my website at withusgifts.com. Check out what I'm all about and hit me up with any questions. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you and have a great day.